purport by Srila Prabhupada. When a scientist discovers something impressive to the ignorant mass of people, the common man, without inquiry, accepts such a discovery as wonderful. But the intelligent man is not struck with wonder by such discoveries. He gives all credit to the person who created the wonderful brain of this scientist. A common man is also struck with wonder by the wonderful action of material nature, and he gives all credit to the cosmic manifestation. The learned Krishna-conscious person, however, knows well that behind the cosmic manifestation is the brain of Krishna, as confirmed in Bhagavad Gita 9.10. Maya Dhyakshena Prakritihi Suyate Sa Characharam. Since Krishna can direct the wonderful cosmic manifestation, it is not at all wonderful for him to assume the gigantic form of a boar and thus deliver the earth from the mire of the water. A devotee is therefore not astonished to see the wonderful boar, because he knows that the Lord is able to act far more wonderfully by his potencies, which are inconceivable to the brain of even the most erudite scientist. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport. Om Jnanatimmirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine. Namaste Sarasvate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So, the sages are glorifying Lord Varaha, the Supreme Lord, in his incarnation of transcendental both. So, by offering these prayers of glorification, they are pointing out the greatness of the Supreme Lord. Now, many people know God is great. At least the pious people know God is great. But Prabhupada often points out they do not know how great is God. The Bhagavatam particularly helps us understand how great is God or Krishna. That is what Prabhupada is pointing out in the purport. So, what is the greatness of God or the Supreme Lord? As per the translation of the verse, as per this verse, the sages are telling, who else but you, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, can deliver the earth from within the water? Nobody else can do this. The earth has fallen into the Garbhodaka ocean, gone to the bottom. Naturally, it will go to the bottom. Why? It's a heavy mass, 6,400 kilometers in diameter. Radius or diameter? Radius. So 12,800 kilometers in diameter. Such a huge mass naturally will sink in the water. So it has gone to the depths. Now what is there at the bottom of the ocean? Mire. Mire means, what do you say in Tamil? In Hindi it's called kichad, slush. Chagadi has gone to Chagadi. Who can lift it? First of all, to go to the bottom of the ocean is very difficult. Garbhodaka ocean. And at the bottom, this huge mass of this earth planet, to lift it up from that mire, from the slush, is even more difficult. So, the sages are telling, none other than the Supreme Lord only can do this. Now, further they're telling, he is lifted. Wonderful, wonderful. The most difficult thing which is not possible for anybody else, Lord has done. Oh, very great, very great. So the says, it is not very wonderful for you. Not something very great. Effortlessly the Lord lifted that in his form as Varaha. Simply came, went diving inside, on his tusk he lifted and easily brought it up. In his boar form, extraordinary form of boar. No boar does anything like diving into the water, lifting something. Even according to the capacity of the boar to lift something according to its size, even that is not possible for the boar. So it is certainly wonderful. This gigantic boar is diving into the Garbhodaka ocean and lifting the earth planet on its tusks. And effortlessly doing so. Not like the weightlifters, have you seen how they lift? Weightlifting competition, I used to see earlier, now I don't see. But if you see them, great struggle. Hey, they lift. And they will be counting how many minutes or seconds they have to hold. They don't need it counted as they are lifted. So the Lord is lifting something very heavy. So he also has to lift it. Oh, he's lifted. No. He is doing it as a Leela. Please remember this. Why Lord's activity is called Leela? Leela means playfully, sportingly he is lifting. What's the description in the Bhagavatam 10th canto of Krishna lifting Govardhan hill? The comparison is made by Shukadeva Goswami. Child lifts a mushroom. When children are playing, of course, it's not nowadays, formerly children used to play. In the rainy season, so many mushrooms will grow. So, children, in order to imitate their parents holding an umbrella when there is rain, if there is rain and they are playing in water, then one child will lift mushroom and say, I'll hold the umbrella for you. He'll tell another child. So Krishna, what did he do? Samvartaka is pouring down torrential rain, devastating Vrindavan. And all the covered boys, covered men, covered women, covered girls, the cows are put into so much of difficulty. So they are turning to Krishna, please do something. So Krishna is telling, like a small child, what can a child do? It can lift one mushroom. Can a child hold umbrella for all the people who are struggling in some heavy rain? No, only while playing they can do something. So Krishna, small child, how old was Krishna? Prabhupada says in the description in Krishna book, he was 7 years old. So 7-year-old boy, he is lifting, what can he lift to hold against the rain? One mushroom. So he is lifting as easily as a child lifts a mushroom, but he is lifting Govardhan hill. And what is he doing at the Govardhan hill, lifting it? He is holding like an umbrella. That is why it is called Govardhan Leela. Sportingly he is doing. Similarly, Varaha, Leela, lifting the earth from the Garbhodaka ocean. Leela. So he is doing it effortlessly, and it's not the sages are telling It's not very wonderful. Hare, it's not wonderful. Are you not giving credit to the Lord for doing such a wonderful activity? No, they're telling it's not very wonderful because the Lord, in creating this wonderful cosmic manifestation, has done something many millions and billions of times more wonderful. If some weightlifter can lift 250 kilo, how much do the different capacities they have for lifting? Different categories are there in weightlifting competition. I think the highest they lift is of the order of 250 kilo. So 250 kilo he can lift. Then you go and ask him, can you lift 1 kilo? It's not very wonderful, no? He can lift 1 kilo. If he can lift 250 kilo, he's a weightlifting champion, Olympic weightlifting champion, heavyweight category. So he lifts 250 kilo. So you ask him, can you lift 1 kilo? If he lifts 1 kilo, somebody will say, oh, so wonderful, so wonderful. You think, what is this wonderful 1 kilo? Correct? Like that, the sages who know what is the wonder in this cosmic manifestation. First of all, people don't know that the Lord is the one who has created this cosmic manifestation. They do not know. And even if they come to know God is the creator, those who study the Shastras, they know God is the creator. So if God is a creator, what is the wonderful way in which He has created? The wonders of this cosmic manifestation. So the Acharyas, while writing commentary in the Bhagavatam, some places in the Bhagavatam, describing the creation, they are telling, O Supreme Lord, your creation is wonderful. So one of the Acharyas, Veer Raghava Acharya, he says that you have created the earth, the water, both you have created. Now consider that the earth, when it's in huge quantity, to hold some small quantity of water, huge quantity of earth holding some small quantity of water. Ordinarily, if I ask you, if there's a big mass of earth, not rocky, but like muddy clay or some earth which is like powder, in that can you make an arrangement to hold in that mass of earth a small quantity of water when rain pours down, when there is water falling? Can you create? Not possible. Even huge quantities of water will be completely sucked away by the earth. But only the Supreme Lord can create in rainy season so many ponds. You go to Bengal, everywhere there are these ponds. Pukur they say. Everywhere there are pukur. Now that where it is rocky and there's a depression, it will hold water. Okay, understandable. But it is not rocky. It is very, very muddy. In that place also, in rainy season, when it rains, there is nice water. So how is it possible? So Veeraghava Acharya says, only the Supreme Lord can create in such a way that in the middle of the huge masses of earth, there are so many ponds, lakes. There are different names for all these bodies of water. Huge reservoirs of water are called. Relatively bigger ones are called lakes. Smaller ones are called ponds. Even smaller than pond is a tank. Smaller than the tank is the well. So many natural wells, tanks, ponds, lakes. And bigger than that, I don't know what it's called. Fresh water, I'm talking of fresh water, which is usable by us. So, how is the Lord created? When it rains, naturally so many ponds get filled up. Tanks, ponds, lakes, all these bodies of water are filled up with fresh water. And then in many villages, many small settlements, they wait for the rainy season to fill up, and rest of the year, if 3 months rainy season is there, remaining 9 months they utilize that water. By the end of the rainy season, by the end of that spring or whatever, before the rains, the water is almost getting exhausted. Then again it rains, again fills up. Fresh water, distilled water by Krishna's arrangement. That water is evaporated by the sun. 9 months when there is no rain, the sun drinks up the water and forms the cloud. And the cloud, it is gathering water, it becomes heavy. And the water precipitates, it condenses. And then the condensation water comes down as rain, and all the water, the reservoirs of water get filled up. Then the rivers start flowing. Some rivers are from mountain tops, where during rainy season on the mountain top sufficient water is gathered, collected, and then it flows down. But there are perennial rivers which don't depend on this rain. Ganga, how is water coming? From somewhere, they say there are glaciers, huge quantities of ice. The ice keeps on melting, and water keeps on flowing. And how much quantity of ice is there, or snow is there, or Hima is there in the Himalayas? It's entirely full with Hima. That's why called Himalaya. Full of snow. So any quantity can be melted. Some small quantity is melted and Ganga is flowing. The quantity of water that flows in Ganga, even though for us it's a huge quantity of water, but as far as the quantity of snow is concerned in the Himalayas, very, very small quantity. So that is not dependent on rainfall, proper gathering of water on top of the mountain, and then it flows. No. But there are places on the mountain tops where there are huge bodies of water which get filled up during the rainy season. And then the water flows. So, where it is rocky mountain, where it is rocky surface of the earth, where there is a depression, water can be collected. Rainy season, okay. But where it is slushy, even there water is being held. How? Nobody knows. Nobody knows. Then consider that the oceans, in between oceans there are islands, small tiny islands. Mauritius, very, very, very tiny island in the middle of the Indian Ocean. How is it this land mass, small land mass, is middle of the ocean, and the waves are continuously coming and hitting, but it is not swallowing away the land? Who can do this? Only Krishna can do it. Nobody else can do it. Can any scientist create a landmass in between the middle of the ocean? Small landmass, small, big, whatever. Can they create? Not possible. If they try to do it, all the waves will come and finish off. Continuously there are waves in the ocean, isn't it? Anytime there is stoppage? No. So this V. Raghavacharya is telling, Krishna, you have created the earth, you have created the water. Now, you have placed this water in the middle of earth, and earth in the middle of water in such a wonderful way. There are islands and there are reservoirs of water. Island is required in the middle of the ocean, correct? For any purpose, the ship has to take a stop or a break, or some hurricane is there, some wind is there, they're going by the boat or the ship, If there is a wind or hurricane, they can take shelter of the land. They're looking for land. Otherwise, the boat will capsize. So if some land masses are there, some islands are there, they can take shelter of the ocean. Like Prabhupada is traveling by Jaladuta, you read. So when their ship came from, Jaladuta came from Calcutta to Colombo. So Colombo, there was a stop. And Prabhupada said, the captain, can I have a look at the city of Colombo? The captain took Prabhupada. The ship had to stop for loading, unloading some cargo. It's a cargo ship. So during that time, captain said, we will go to the city and see. So you see how some relief is possible because there is a small island called Sri Lanka. Or those days it was called Ceylon. So that island, it is in the middle of the ocean, Indian Ocean. It is not, there is no danger, it will all get covered and finished off. Everybody will drown. No, there is no danger. Who is holding it? Krishna is holding it. The waves will not drown the people living on the island. Never. Never it will happen. Sometimes due to too much sinful activities, calamities are there like tsunami. The ocean seems to overflow. But how fast it recedes. How fast it recedes. Immediately the water came when tsunami occurred in Chennai, 2005. And immediately it went back. Came, went back. Finished, over. So this is possible only by the Supreme Lord. Arrangement. So the Acharya is telling, Viragava Acharya, your creation is wonderful. So this is an intelligent person who is seeing the wonder in this creation, which common men cannot, nobody thinks. How this small body of water is there in the middle of the earth. Small island is there in the middle of the huge ocean. Nobody thinks. So Prabhupada is telling, when a scientist discovers something impressive to the ignorant mass of people, the common man, without inquiry, says, oh, wonderful, wonderful, the scientist did a wonderful job. But the intelligent man, what does he see? The scientist is able to discover by using his brain. Who has made this brain? Scientist himself has created the brain. I want to have a very nice brain by which I can do discovery. No. Scientists cannot create a brain. Intelligent brain, that too. Can he create? No, he cannot create. Who has created the brain? God has created. So intelligent man is not struck by wonder by such discoveries. He gives all credit to the person who created the wonderful brain of the scientist. So devotees are intelligent because they see behind some discovery, some creation. Whose intelligence is working? Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Mayadhyakshena prakritihi suyate characharam. That's exactly what the sages are telling about the Supreme Lord. That your creation is so wonderful that this lifting the earth is not any great wonderful act of yours. Naturally you can do it. Very easily you can do it. Only you can do it. Nobody else can do it. That's what the sages are telling. So, now when you study open the verse 9.10 and read the full verse, Shravana Mangala. Translation, Vedatma, read the translation. Again and again it is annihilated, created and annihilated, but it is Krishna's direction Maya adhyakshena prakritihi suyate sachara. Both moving and non-moving. Now, moving and non-moving can be understood two ways. Everything which is created being, living beings who are created, are of two kinds. Chara, achara. Sthavara, jangama. Moving and non-moving. But another way of understanding moving and non-moving is the living and the non-living. The living entities and the objects of matter that is created. Huge things are created, gigantic cosmic manifestations, so many planets, each planet having so many varieties of material objects. That is also non-moving, another understanding. So both matter and spirit. The spirit souls, innumerable spirit souls all over the creation, they have, each one has got a body, different types of bodies, material body, okay. But then apart from those, there are so many material objects that are also created. So those material objects which are created, they can be considered as non-moving. So this creation by Krishna, suyate sa chara acharam. What is the word for meaning? Chara acharam? Moving and non-moving. So this creation is very, very wonderful by the Lord. So when you read this verse, you may not get the sense of Krishna's creation being wonderful. But here Prabhupada is quoting and pointing out that this Leela of the Lord being glorified by the sages is pointing to this particular wonderful act of the creation of the Lord, which is much, much, much more wonderful than the Lord's Leela of lifting the earth from the Garbhodaka ocean. So this is the way to glorify the Lord, by particularly glorifying how great is the Lord. Not that, oh, God is great. That is also glorification. God is great. God has created this, lifted this earth. It's a very wonderful activity. That is also glorification. But that is not the glorification by the devotees, by the intelligent persons who know what is the extent to which the Lord can display His wonder in creating this cosmic manifestation. What is the wonderful thing about the cosmic manifestation? That actually makes this lifting the earth as very insignificant. Ananta Sesha, what is he holding? What is he holding on his hoods? Many hoods. Universes. And how many planets are there in one universe? Millions. So if he can hold millions of planets on each of his hoods, one hood, millions of planets. What does Chaitanya Charitamrita say? Each universe feels like one mustard seed is lying on the head of Ananta. He's got unlimited heads. Because unlimited universes. Each universe is resting like one mustard seed. Supposing I put one mustard seed on your head. Can you hold it and stand? Yeah, I can. You'll feel lot of weight? No. So that's the way Ananta feels when universe is resting on his hood. So that Ananta is a portion of the 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 Lord, Krishna. What does Chaitanya Charitamrita say? First expansion of Krishna is Balaram. Balaram's expansion is, next expansion is Sankarshana, first Sankarshana, not second Sankarshana, first Sankarshana, first Chaturvyuha. Then First Sankarshana's expansion is Narayana. Narayana's expansion is second Sankarshana. Second Sankarshana's expansion is Mahavishnu. Mahavishnu's expansion is Garbhodakshayi Vishnu. Garbhodakshayi Vishnu's expansion is Kshirodakshayi Vishnu. Kshirodakshayi Vishnu's expansion is Ananta Sheshnag. So, expansion of the expansion of the expansion of the expansion of Krishna is holding one universe on his hood, on his head, one mustard seed. He doesn't feel any weight. So then, that Lord is coming as Varaha, lifting one earth planet, which is one among millions of planets already resting on the hood of Ananta, of the Supreme Lord. So is it any great thing? 1/1,000,000th of the weight of the universe, Lord is lifting from the ocean. Where is the difficulty? So that's why we have to understand the glories of the Lord as described in the scriptures, as described by the Acharyas, who know what is the greatness, extent of greatness of the Supreme Lord. What is the extent of greatness? Then we will not be bewildered by some devata, by some yogi. We will never be bewildered. Devotees are never bewildered by any actions of the yogi, of the devatas, of the powerful men of this world, great scientists, great philosophers, great discoveries, inventions. Devotees are not any time bewildered. No. They give all credit to the creator of the brain of the scientist or the philosopher. Or even the one who created the brain of the devata, one who created the brain of the scientist. That is only possible. Can devatas create brain? Very wonderful brain can they create? They cannot create. Only the Supreme Lord can create. So, the credit always goes to the Supreme Lord. That is another reason why the devotees are always humble. When somebody glorifies a devotee, oh, you did wonderful service. Devotee will say, all credit goes to Krishna. Because Krishna is the one who is seated in my heart as Paramatma, and he is directing everything. He is giving me intelligence, he is giving me knowledge, he is making me forget so many unnecessary things which should not come in the way of my working. He is giving me the power to breathe. He is giving me the power of digestion by which I can eat and nicely digest and get that energy for working, for doing so many things. So he is the one who should be glorified, who should be given credit. That is how devotees are humble. Not that I am devotee, I am supposed to be humble. No, Prabhu, I didn't do it. Krishna did everything. Not sentiment of humility. Beyond sentiment is good for a neophyte to have sentiment of humility. But beyond sentiment is the factual knowledge. Tattvataha evam yo veti tattvataha. One who knows Krishna in truth. What is Krishna's position? What is Krishna's power? What is Krishna's ability? What is Krishna's greatness? How great is Krishna? Evam yo veti tattvataha. Such a person is a devotee. My devotees know me in truth. Which verse of Bhagavad Gita Krishna says this? My devotees know me in truth. So study Bhagavad Gita. I won't tell you the answer now. You study Bhagavad Gita. It'll take some time. Somebody knows immediately can tell me. Otherwise, next time I'll ask you. Next class. After about 10 days, I'll come back. Today I'm going out of station. So I'll ask you. In the meantime, you find out. Okay? I'll stop here. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.